Another one bites the dust. What in Torah talks about biting the dust? Isn't it the snake who had to slither on its belly and lick at the dust of the earth, and that's what it eats. It eats the dust of the earth. Good morning. That's what the snake, that's what it gets pleasure out of. To eat dust. It's interesting, it says about Moshiach, it says quite a few things related to this, but it says, Madani Metzuyim Ka'afar. There's going to be delicacies as plentiful as the dust, as common as dust. And the Rebbe says that, good morning, the Rebbe says that means that it's going to be common to us, these delicacies. We won't care to focus on that. That's not going to be our fascination anymore. It's going to be like afar. Dust is as common as dust. We're going to have Lux and cream cheese sandwiches every single day. Okay, it's not going to do it for you the same way. Well, that's a bit hard for me to understand on the basis of what I've been learning again and again and again, that the most relevant part to somebody, the things that really resonate with a person, those things specifically, is where you're going to experience the very essence of God. The way you interact with those things is going to reveal to you your understanding of those things, and everything, your people around you, obviously more so. That's in this physical world, and specifically here, that's how you understand Atzmos, the very essence of God, the infinity of God. Okay, like I can handle so many voltages. Are you guys like, you want to experience, it says, Elav v'lay limideisav. You pray to Hashem and not to his midas. Midas it means character traits, but it also means a measured quantity. A midah is a measured quantity. So if you have a concept of God that's measured, that's finite, that's not really God. And you're not supposed to daven to that aspect of God. You're not supposed to be fascinated with that aspect of God. There's something greater than that. There's an incredible thing. This is what got me going. Okay, I haven't told you yet. First, my poem. A snake laps at the dust. Ottoman. Okay, that means nothing to you. I know that. But check this out. Check what the Rebbe says. To back up a little bit, the Rebbe says that right now we're on the time whereby it's fulfilling the prophecy of Yalkut Shmeini. It says, Shana Shemelech Moshiach Niglabai. The Medrash says that the time that Melech Moshiach is going to be revealed, Aymed al Gag Beis HaMikdash, he stands on the rooftop of the Beis HaMikdash, and the Rebbe speaks at length about what that means, and the Rebbe says it means 770. Okay, but we'll get to that another time. Va'aymer Anavim, he says, what does he say? What does Moshiach proclaim to the world? It's talking about actually before the Beis HaMikdash is built. Never proves that, but it's a different topic. Va'aymer Anavim, he says, humble ones, Higiyaz man gulaskam, the time of your redemption has arrived. Wouldn't you think that if you were in the actual Beis HaMikdash, you would have to be told that? No. It's talking that Gog is the one part of the Beis HaMikdash that you don't have to have only sanctified objects there. It's not considered as part of the inside of the Beis HaMikdash. Therefore, the fact that Mashiach is going to stand on the rooftop of the Beis HaMikdash, specifically there, that is analogous to his Beis HaMikdash that is when they're in exile, which is the shul and the Beis HaMedrash of the Reish Bnei Yisrael, the Rebbe of Yisrael, which we believe is the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says that's talking about 770. Okay, but what does he say? Higiyaz man gulaskum. The time of redemption has arrived. What does Higiyah mean? It means unririn. I had to look it up. I think it means touching, okay? Because it sounds like approaching. But he quotes in the verse, in the footnote here, he quotes a source. It says, unririn b'lashon Yiddish, kalashon akasa b'negei legulas Purim. As it said regarding the redemption of Purim, it says, V'tiga b'reish hasharbit. She touched the head of the scepter. That's our proof for what we mean by the higia, the time it has arrived. It means she touched the head of the scepter. When Esther faced her doom or her intimacy with, what do we call it? Chashverosh Misha, Rashis Achlis Shalai. Achashverosh. It's talking about a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The whole time in Megillah, when it's talking about the king, the wicked king, Lahavdil, it's speaking about God himself. So everything is there, an analogy. Because how do you relate to Hashem as a Meshal? How did Esther become Karka Olam? That's what Teisvai says. How could she have done what she did? It doesn't say she was a prophetess and therefore she was told to do it. It doesn't say that. It's like, no, there's a halachic basis for what she did. Why? She was Karkas Elam. Let me ask you a question. Okay, I don't know if this is appropriate to talk about. But how could she possibly have done that? If you know what that means. She was like, she didn't do anything. So she didn't do anything wrong, right? Because the feminine is a recipient. So therefore they don't do anything. It's passive. They can't be responsible. It couldn't have been something that was halachically prohibited. Because of this reason. Let me ask you a question. If she was chosen amongst how many thousands of people to be the queen, Chatzia Malchus Veseyas, says, I'm going to give you half the Malchus. I think that means not the base of English, that's the other half of the world. Isn't that the parish there? The Sigav, the Reisha Sharbi. What is the Rebbe saying here? What is connection? Higias Mangalaskim. It's talking about before the redemption. What happens with Sigav Reisha Sharbit? What did Esther do when she was with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Kadsha Kadashim? What did the Kruvim do? I like Kruv, it sounds like Kravia. It's not it's the same word. Kiravia, rather. I don't know. I really want to find the etymology of that word. Okay, that's a different topic. Stay focused. Okay, so the Rebbe quotes that incredible medrash. But he goes on in the footnote here. He says, the Alchemist Shemaini concludes like this: V'imatem ve'im ein atem aminim. Okay, let's not say the negative part. It says, Beis Shab Mibeis Hamikdash HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eri. No, Mavhik HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eri Shemelech Mashiach. At that moment, God shines the light of Mashiach, the Shel Yisrael, and the Jewish people. The Jewish people, Mashiach and the Jewish people are going to shine in the world. And everyone's going to go according to the light of King Moshiach, the Shel Yisrael, and the Jewish people. But it goes on, it gets better. He quotes a pasuk. Okay, where is it? Yeshayahu. Okay, it says, the Gentiles are going to go to your light. And kings are going to your shine, will illuminate, Adam. Lenega zarchek, to your shine they will bring light. Ubayim machachim afar betachas raglav shemelech Mashiach. What in the world does that mean? And they are going to come and lick the dust from beneath the feet of Melech HaMashiach. Good morning. That is what they're going to do. Okay, now what does that mean? Another one bites the dust? Okay, here's my poem. A snake laps at the dust. Ottoman. It's talking about Melech HaMashiach's feet sitting on an ottoman. What are they going to do to it? Okay, I got sources on this. I got lots of sources. I got a lot to say. I don't know. I got time. My manager's telling me 10 minutes. This person is severe. Okay, I pay a lot of money for the best advice on me. I have sources. Lick the dust of my feet. Can you imagine such a scene? Imagine the Rebbe with a crown on his head, sitting, I don't know, maybe he'll wear purple. I think he would have a purple kapata, would be glorious. And geschmack a gold crown on his head, like every Jew will have on their head. And woman, men and women, I mean, everyone's going to be wearing crowns like we had in our Sinai. Come on, that was only the betrothal. Do you think when they're married, when there's a yichud, they're not going to wear a crown? Come on. It's a kol v'chomer, simple. It's a pasuk in Yeshayahu. Okay, I'm going to read the English translation since I just gave my translation. It says like this: Kings shall tend your children, their queens shall serve you as nurses, they shall bow to you, face to the ground, and, oh my goodness, this is a pasuk in the Torah, and lick the dust of your feet, and you shall know that I am the Lord. Those who trust in me shall not be shamed. Radak. These are makubal, right? They're going to be the ones who raise the kings are going to raise your children. Just like it says, when the Ayman, the craftsman, the carer of the child lifts the, okay, I don't know exactly how to translate that. Radak, okay, more Radak, it says, V'yadata, you will know, as Tedak Hi'ani Avaya, then you'll know that I am God, Bidei Hakel Hashpil Harim, and it's my hands, everything, whether to lift up, to descend, cause someone to descend, or to lift them up. And I am, those who believe in me are not going to be shamed. If you don't believe in Hashem, it's a shameful thing. You didn't trust in Hashem. But rather they hoped for me many days in exile. They did not abandon their hope. And they will no longer have the disgrace of the nations of the world, who said, you have no hope. No one would even take us in. Good people. Would you not take in a good person if they needed your shelter? Is that the type of person you are? So now I have the Yalkut Shemini on this, the whole thing. It's heavy. Let's see where we can jump in a little bit. The Kavan Shara Eisen is Dazav and Nafal upon of Amar, Bevadizem Moshiach, Sha'asi Lahapili. Okay, I don't know what it's talking about. It sounds awesome. V'chol Sarei de Alilim begehenim shnemer bala mavis lenetzach macha Shem yolakim dima mal kol panim. Shem's going to wipe the tears from every face. Ba'isa Shah hisragshu ha'umas ha'elam amru. No, ha'ev de Alilim amru lefanav ribayne shalalam. Who is this before whom we are falling? His name is Ephraim. My father's name, incidentally. The anointed, Tzidki Shemai. The righteous anointed is his name. Okay, it's beautiful stuff, but it goes on and on. And this is not the part I wanted to get to. It's just beautiful. Okay, I could spend a long time on this. Oh my goodness. David Beicha ve'amar Yavesh Kecheresh Keichi. Beautiful words. We don't have time for that. We have to get to the part. Here it is. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Yisrael Misrashim, they're going crazy. The Jewish people, Mispalim, and they're freaking out. Where are we going to go? Can you imagine walking down the street, not know which way you're going? Or imagine that you have the light of Hashem guiding you. How would you walk differently when you actually know where you're going? Get rid of all that anxiety of like, did I forget my keys in the car and all this? Imagine actually trusting in Hashem that you didn't actually, because you don't forget the keys in the car, and you just get rid of all your anxieties and all the things that's traumatized you in the past. Let them go. That's the opposite of the state that people are in before Galus. They don't know where to turn. That's what it's saying. Where are we going to go? 3 times. And he says, Moshiach says, children, do not fear. Is this Hashem speaking himself? Okay, it's talking about a war that happens beforehand. It must be talking about Moshiach, because it's speaking of Moshiach last. There's nothing to be afraid of. Everything I've done it for you. The Canadian Brian Adams saying, everything I do it for you. Okay, I'm not as handsome as him. Everything that I've done, I have not done, I've only done for you. Don't freak out. There's no reason for anxiety. Have a little faith that Hashem's guiding your every step. That's what the Rebbe is saying. This time is now. Okay, I could read you all those Rebbe sichos. I would love to. Tell me, stay. Okay, you think I'm going to leave if everyone's saying, no, don't worry. I'm going to drop my groceries right here in the middle of the road and keep going. The Siga Bereshet Hasharbit. What's the Rebbe saying there? You tell me. It's going to be experiential. It's what I was saying before. What does it mean? Okay, it gets a long explanation. Eliyahu Navi is going to be Vasargal. He's going to bring the yearning for the unity of thought and speech. Okay, I've spoken about this many times. You have to start knowing stuff. Just know it already. That process, I'm trying to translate that idea into the idea that the equivalent of that in our terms, the way we understand it, is our desire is going to be synonymous with experience. I had this whole fight with Rabbi Noam Wagner. It was stupid of me. I do stupid things. He was speaking at for bringing, and he was trying to engage me a bit. So, okay, he brought it on. I was going to shut up, sit there, and behave, but he brought it on. So he happened to be mashveh, Katan Magadol. He was mashveh, Nivra with Beira, in a sense. He's a very holy man. He's younger than me, but he's a very holy man. He's very sincere, great. He's a real chassid. So he happened to say something. I should just shut up. I know what he was talking. I know what he meant, but the words bother me because I'm learning in Tanya. Hey, did I bring my highlighted Tanya here, my coloring book? I know it's here somewhere. Let me just. Yes, here it is. Okay, this is a whole long side point, and I know I'm getting yelled at now by all my managers, and I know that. So Noam Wagner said that the Beira, the Creator, we are one with the Creator. Okay, there's nothing wrong with saying that. Of course, we're one with the Creator. But I had this pipe in, and I'm saying that in the Tanya for the past 3 days we've been learning, it's saying only the very essence of God could create. And I told you how that related to the things I'm interested in. But only the very essence of God can create ex nihilo, something from nothing. And it specifically detracts the power of the Jewish soul from this ability to create ex nihilo, something from nothing. Yesh ma'ayin. Who's yelling at me? She'enan bechinas bitul legamri ka'alu legabe ilo ach neshamas hamalachim she yetzu mezivuk and eshikin v'kenish mas ha'adam. So too regarding the Jewish soul, the soul of a man, she yetzu mezivuk dezun, which came about through a much more intimate relationship spiritually. The zivuk dezun de'atzilus, more so than the angels, which is an external expression comparatively to the actual complete unity of the zivug of Zun, which is it's said to be a bodily, whatever that means, unity, as opposed to a kiss, which is just, it's in Chassidus it explains as breath intermingled, sharing desire. But there's something even more deep where there's not two desires to intermingle, I think. There's a complete unity that's all aspects unite. So there's a complete oneness. It's analogous to what's inside, beneath the kruvim, is underneath the kaperis, is the luchais. which represents the unity of the Jewish people. Good morning. People don't like me parking in front of their house. Oh, that's, what can you do? The law is the law. So it says that the Nishmas Adam Sheyetim in Zivog Zun, that Zilas Kedim Sheyad Leviyah, Eine Machlal Yesh, V'davar Nifrod B'fnei Atzma. They're not considered something existentially separate from godliness. Separate unto themselves, rather. Elehen Me'ein B'chinas Elkus. They are rather something that resembles godliness themselves, these souls. The souls of you, okay? Talking about you. You're Me'ein B'chinas Elkus. Tzimtzum Atzum. V'keina came to the Yitzfiras Detzilus. And then it goes on to say, Ach Ein Elkus Mamish, later on in the page. Mamish Livra Yeshmayan. They are not, the souls of the Jewish people are not godliness literally in order to create Yeshmayan. So it says Me'ein B'chinas Elkus above, and then it's a Me'ein, it's something that resembles it. Not synonymous, but they're not literally synonymous with godliness in the extent that we mean that God creates ex nihilo. That is the unity of the Jewish people where we don't exist anymore. It's the Luchais Abris. Interestingly, there's two sets. That's, okay, that slugs me up completely. And in fact, the Rebbe says in the Sikha here, why does it mean that the only thing left to do is to polish our buttons? Oh my goodness, I highlighted that somewhere. Here it is. No, that's not it. Oh my goodness. It says it's the only thing left to do, and it means that you have two sides coming together. Here it is. No, I can't find it on the fly. Oh well. I thought that was amazing. What is it? Oh, it's gotta be on this page. Okay, I can't find it. Okay, this is my other one. Okay, I got like tons of things here. Maybe I should call it a day. Maybe just shut up for a second. So, do we understand yet what it means? So I wanted to say what it means. I wanted to quote you the source that says it's a serpent. When it says that the nations of the world lick at the feet, it says in Metzudas David, it says, Afar yalachachu, they're going to lick at the dust. Right? It means to say that they're going to bow down. Their stature is going to bend over ad la'aretz, to the earth, to bow before him, kamei hamalachach ha'afar shekeichav kemasli ad la'aretz. Just like someone licks the dust, that he has to bend over his posture upon the earth to lick the dust. It's talking about their stature bowing. Where does it bring in Nachash? It's in the Metzudas David on Mika. That was in Metzudas David on Tilim, Ayin base, Tes base, okay? And then Metzudas David on Micha, Zion, then it says Yud Zion. Oh, the extra letter is just a reference in Sefaria. Okay, don't worry about that. Yilachu afar kenachash, it says, right similar, Apayim Aretz Yishtachu Yisrael. Similarly, it means they're going to bow down to the Jewish people. This is what it says. I didn't write this. It will look as if they're looking at the dust of their feet. Like this serpent. Like this serpent that licks the dust because that is its bread. What did we say? Kima lach ba'asher hu he ishte. This guy Potiphar, he gave me everything except his wife, being that it's his wife. No, his bread rather. And Rashi says it's talking about his wife. So it's anything that we're drawn to is analogous to bread. That was the great Nisayan of Yosef, the challenge of Yosef, to resist Eshes Potiphar. And I've spoken about what all that came about from that. Okay, so maybe just a little bit more. So I want to read you some of this Yalkut Shmoni. I have two of them. Okay, let me just see if we can get into this one a little bit. It says, our sages taught, and the time that Moshiach comes, he's going to stand on the rooftop of the base of English, and he will mashmiel em Yisrael. He will proclaim before the Jewish people, Va'imar Navim Higiyaz Man Gulaskam, some humble ones, the time of redemption has arrived. V'ima atem inamim ra'uli ba'eri shezarak aleichem shenemar. And if you do not believe it is fit that my fire should shine upon you, im ein atem ma'aminim, if you don't believe it, why would you have to believe it if Melech Mashiach is standing on the rooftop of the base of Mikdash? Because the Rebbe says it's talking about now. It's talking about in 770. The Rebbe was saying from 770, yes, and you have to believe it. V'im ein atem ma'aminim. Why would you not believe if Mashiach's there standing on the roof of the base of Mikdash? Because it's going to take a little bit of imagination to trust that the Rebbe is right. He says, maminim ra'ui ba'uri shezarak aleim. You will see, rather, by the light that shines aleichem upon you. Shenemar kumi eri kiva erich. Get up, my light. Kumi eri kiva erich, because your light has arrived. Because just upon you have shone, your rays have shone, and not upon those who worship idols. It says that darkness will cover the earth. These are the words that I think the Rebbe quoted there. At that moment, the Almighty shines the light of Melech Mashiach, V'shel Yisrael. They're all going to walk in the light of Melech Moshiach, V'shel Yisrael, and the Jewish people. We said this all before. And they come to lick the dust from under the feet of Melech Mashiach. They will lick at the dust of your feet. So we said what that means. They're going to bow before the Jewish people, like a serpent going down. That's how you're supposed to bow, by the way, like a serpent. All your vertebrae are supposed to be engaged in curving. So I wanted to relate this with. I'll just shut up probably after this. I had a lot of other things to say, but anyway, I'm not going to get metaphysical at this hour. And that's probably where it would end, and you got to bring it down. Because I wanted to relate this Madani Mitzini Kafrai, which I spoke about at the beginning. How does it relate? What's the flip side of the negative aspect of not appreciating the Madanim of this world? Why should you not appreciate it? We're going to celebrate a physical meal with Levias and Ashar Bar, and that's what Rabbi Noam Wagner was screaming in the yeshiva. It was beautiful to see. He says, the Rebbe said that the Levias and Ashar Bar are already here before us, and the Yain and Shemur, everything's set. It's a set table. There's everything, the delicacies, and it's afar. But the Rebbe is pointing our attention to it because these are spiritual experiences of those things. That's what the Shar Bar is. It's the physicality of the world. This great giant ox that we're going to eat, and the great herring, I don't know, fish, I don't know. It's the sea bass. What's it called? I forget what it's called. It's been a long time. Chilean sea bass. Okay. I remember the good old days. The flesh pots of Mitzrayim, my father says. That's the way he translates that. Sir basar, I think the word's in Hebrew. Or kura barzel. My mother is texting me. I get to see it on my watch. That's so James Bond. So what does it mean? What's the flip side of it's going to be as common as dust? What do you mean common as dust? The Rebbe is getting us excited saying this is going to be a great Suda, a physical feast. And we're going to see that as common dust. The Rebbe said both things. How do you reconcile that? I think the hints in this whole thing about looking at dust, what does that mean? Here it says that means that there's going to be this deference to what's holy. This natural tendency that Nachash is going to be a Shamash Gadol, great servant. Satan is going to serve God. The Yetzer Hara is going to be a servant of God. The thrill of transgression is going to be the thrill of seeing that godliness is in that transgression too. And I don't mean transgression in something that's against God's will. I don't mean that. I mean in the sense in English where we say a transgression is getting away a taboo or some anxiety. Crossing a line is a transgression in that sense of the word. And that's, I think, the flip side of what the thrill of transgression is. What does it say? Stolen waters are more... What is water? Pleasure? Stolen waters are more... pleasurable? What do they say? Or it quenches the thirst for... I forget. We got to look up the exact terminology there. So what does it mean, man? They're going to be as common as dust? I think it's going to be... hard to say this. There's so much I want to say. We are going to be very comfortable in the position of each one of us sitting on a freaking throne. I'm serious. With our feet on an ottoman. That's what it's saying. It's going to be something we're comfortable with. Like, if there's a little bit of dust on the floor, it's going to seem common to us, but not that we're not going to enjoy it. Maybe the way that a nachash would relate to it is not the way we're going to relate to it, or rather the flip side of the nachash, the positivity that it brings about is realization in that transgression. What you thought was a transgression, no, that too has a way to express it in a holy way according to Torah. And when you do that, that's what the Rebbe means when he says that you can understand atzmus through the physical interactions in the world. Your best friend. That is how you're going to know the essence of God. I don't mean something so mystical. I mean your relationship with your Creator. Whatever you want to understand what that means. The essence of God, the very core of what God is, not the way He gives you sunburn if you're exposed too long before Him. The essence of when God and you just are like besties. That. Then you are not going to misinterpret what it means. That they're going to lick the dust of your feet. That they're going to bow before you because it's a reverence for something that is to be honored and respected and, what's the word I'm looking for? Esteemed. An esteem for integrity seen to the core at every facet. That is the malchus that makes a person see that as dust. That's just a common thing. It's not something to be fascinated of and something like I did. No, dust just forms in the world, right? It's from my fingernails. The sameness of the world is just, it's a natural way just to draw. So you're not fascinated with that aspect. You are fascinated by the aspect of that it's Hashem sitting on this throne with me. That it's really a unity. Okay, why are there two luchais? Why there should be one luach? Someone's got to research that for me. It makes no sense. That's the ultimate unity. Why would there be two? Maybe I got it wrong. Someone help me with this, please. Why are there two luchais? Oh, I asked an amazing question to Rabbi Yosef Shachat, Yossi Shachat. It was bothering me. Haftarah's Chana, the whole story of Hannah. Elkanah, her husband, tells her, aren't I better to you? Am I more enjoyable geschmack to you? Or more, I can't remember the exact words he says, and we have to look it up if we're going to know what we're talking about. But aren't I better than if you had 10 children? It's not enough 2 or 3. You had twins. No, 10 children. What is he saying? He said, he looked at his wife not like she was a shikker, which the Rebbe says means a shikker. Oh, he's told me so much, okay. I learned the secret, but there's all that too that's rushing in my head. But also he told me about that when Eli saw, and he was having the whole, is it Eli or Eli? Eli, when he was having the whole experience of the ephod, and like he was like looking at this breastplate and it was illuminating. It said the letters Shakura, Shin Kaf, Vav Reish Hey or something like that. It was no, without the Vav. It's supposed to say Kshera. He read it wrong. I mean, he was the Nasi Adar. He was the leader of the generation. He read the letters wrong, illuminated on the breastplate through Ruach HaKodesh. He had a prophecy of like, I'm giving you the code, I'm beaming down the code to you. He had that and he read it wrong. He had dyslexia there for a second. It said, she's an Isha Kshera, Chana. And he read it as Shikura. She was a shikar, drunk. The Rebbe has a whole explanation what that means. That he thought that she was being selfish in seeking to have her prayers answered. Remember I told you, what if someone says they expect prayers were answered, that they're going to have their sins sort of go in the heavenly court before the heavenly court will be recounted, the person's sins. That's the result of saying, because of my merit, I deserve to be answered. So he misunderstood what she was doing, and it was meant to be. He ended up giving her blessings. Another interpretation he doesn't. I know I got like 3 running on my head. Is that she used trickery to elicit in him a blessing, for which corrected. He was a Nasi Ador. He's a great person. She elicited a blessing from this great man by tricking him. Just like Rivka Imenu had Yaakov trick his father Yitzchak in order so that you could get the brachas of Yitzchak has to come through trickery. And it goes on and on. This I could talk about, the Zarash Moshiach. It's a whole topic. Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson has shiurim on that. It's incredible. Blows your mind. Okay, I've been ranting too long. If I'm starting to give plugs to my competitors, then for sure I'm going too long. I'm just kidding. I wish success to him. Totally. I think everyone should have success and we should take the world, conquer the world already. You know what? Like, I loved sitting with the Chassidim last night, the real Chassidim. But I think that it's also an opportunity lost. When no Wagner was that day for the children, he was like screaming at the Yassin and Shar Bar is all here, everything's here, and we're living with Moshiach now, we're one with the Rebbe. And this is more like a reminiscing. Oh, that's another thing I want to say. It says that there was miracles rolled around under the table by the Alter Rebbe, in his presence. Miracles were rolling around under the table, but no one bothered to go down to pick them up. I sort of thought that was like the Ottoman idea. It's not necessarily licking dust. It just means a deference. It means I will bow even my head because I recognize there's something meaningful and purposeful and graceful about Jews who represent God in the world. I mean, we have the capacity to be worse than the Yitush. Is that how you say it in Ivrit? The Yitush. Oh, I read another incredible thing, the power of Bechira. I have a Likutei Torah that speaks about that. Bechira, how that is the power for us to just be rulers of the world, comes from Bechira. Once we choose to be a partner in God, and like having this deference to God, when we bow to God, then the world bows to us. Have a great day.